Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm your host, Big Sam. Today, bringing you a slice of information you may or may not be aware of. We're gonna take you back. We know y'all got some uncles and some aunties out there that can tell you about it. The person that you listening to right now is Champion Jack Dupree, Oklahoma native. And I just thought it would be appropriate because this song is from 1921. With us today, we got a guest, Mr. English. You got anything you want to say now?
Peace and power to the people, man.
Peace and power to the people. Y'all heard him out right now. Let's hop on this train. Got that steam rolling. It's May 30th, 1921. A young shoe shiner, Dick Rowland, accused of assaulting one Sarah Page. She worked in the elevator building downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. I wasn't there. You wasn't there. But all signs point to no. Now, this young lady who worked in the elevator building told somebody Mr. Rowland had assaulted her. The local paper, the Tulsa Tribune, printed a story stating that Mr. Rowland, tried to rape Page, and also stating that a lynching was planned for that night. Mr. English, what you think about that?
Well, without if I didn't have the knowledge I have, um, I would consider it being something that actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At first glance, you're like, oh no, a man done something he wasn't supposed to do to a woman.
Right.
And in the wonderful world of America, a black man done something he wasn't supposed to do to a white woman. And you know what these things come with because you hear stories, you've seen pictures, you've been there. So some of us have been there when it happened. We was small with kids, stuff like that. So
Right.
I mean, not us, but
Yeah.
our fathers and grandfathers.
I'm
And
with
so
you.
um, what we see today is police shootings and more of that type of situation than actual mobs coming and dragging somebody down the street and hanging them. I mean, you catch it here and there in small towns every now and again because the power of white entitlement is alive and well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as prevalent as before because these Negroes these days ain't having that.
Not
For
at
the
all.
most part, but as far as it goes, the knowledge that I have on it just puts me in a position to be like, oh, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of people don't understand. That's where you get the situation where your mama saying you better not bring a white girl home
Right.
and things of that nature. You think your mama just don't like white, just don't want you to bring a white girl home because she's saying don't bring one home because she's telling you how to date somebody, but she know that in certain circumstances, these white girls will come over there all kikiing, laughing, smiling with y'all in your face, and you'll have witnesses around who've seen it. And as soon as somebody see her from her side of town, or if she feel different or whatever, the first thing she gonna yell is, "He raped me."
Right.
And then you got some grown ass men coming after you, coming to your house, knocking on your door, dragging you out your house in front of your mama,
Yep.
and you a teenager.
Well, that
Just
actually
living life.
that actually has happened recently with a group of white men and, of course, a sheriff. I think it was went to these black people's house and the son opened the door and they told him that some girl was in his house and that they was about to come in there and all types of stuff like that have happened recently.
Really? I didn't even know that.
Yep.
It's not shocking. It's just that I didn't know it.
There's also that incident, kind of on the other hand, where, like you were saying, grown ass men, a grown ass officer looking for his daughter, pulled over her boyfriend at the time, black, to make him get out of the car and tell him he's finna go to jail because he wanted to know where she was at and all of this type of stuff.
He finna go to jail because he wanted to know where she was at. That ain't no law. That ain't even no. That ain't nothing.
Right,
that ain't shit.
But that's what he did. Took him out, put him in his police car, and then the girl though was in the back seat of her boyfriend's car, underneath some clothes. So the daddy didn't know she was back there, and she popped out like, "What the hell are you doing? You leave him alone," and all of this type of stuff, and wellness check, and like I think it was a mama came. A mama came outside and was involved. Like, you leave them alone, and all types of stuff like that. So it has, it's still happening.
And the problem with that is, it would seem it takes women to step in, a mother to step in, or even a white counterpart at least to
Right.
step in front of someone in a uniform and with a badge and a gun who can call their gang if they need to come and shoot you up.
Yep.
With the help of the state.
All right. Speaking of,
that's another story, but
well, I'm gonna jump in right there when you said gang, because they have found out that the LA LA Sheriff's Department does have at least 2 gangs in it.
Yeah, of course. I done seen the documentaries, and I just see it in the actions.
Well, they say officially they found out it's the prospects and the banditos.
Right, and even more than that, bro. It's just that people see the power behind a uniform and a badge, and they like, if you can't beat them, you join them. You know what I mean? So I'm sure some black folks in there who got some gangsters on their payroll too. You know what I'm talking about? And it's all spectrums. It's just it's like I said, if you can't beat them, join them in that particular case, and also don't let them see you coming.
Well, I mean, my girl was saying, I was saying, we was having a conversation about this. Like, is it weird? Because it seems like when you take all of the cop stuff into context, it kind of seems like the gang members are becoming the cops, and the cops becoming the gang members, and then literally they find out that the LA Sheriff's Department has gangs in the fucking Sheriff's Department.
Right, and they cover each other's backs with the stuff that they do, all the way up to the judge and the mayor. And we're gonna get back to the white woman who said that the brother had raped her.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm bringing it back.
But there was a situation in Oklahoma with a young black man who was a Christian hip hop rapper, and the police, I think a brother done it, shooting him up like 6-7 times, shooting at him while he was running from him, and so the people on the campus that he was on when he was trying to find him, and the whole shooting happened, they went got the footage from them. They didn't want to show people the car footage, because the car footage clearly shows the brother running away from the cop, and the cop just firing at him as he's running across the front of the car, like into the camera's view. You know what I mean? And so the police captain, the DA, the mayor, all colluded with the same story, but the person who was telling me about this is the person who went and got that story. Like, who went back and had her person hack into the system to get that footage that they wouldn't show.
Right.
And the footage showed otherwise from what everybody had colluded to say. And so in the paper, they had put it in the paper and everything. He got shot in the eye, bro. And he was on a bed on the stretcher, like being healed in the hospital, and they still had him handcuffed. And they said he had said to one of the officers, like, I'm not going to run. I just need to go to the bathroom. He's like, I'm not going to run. I can't breathe. I just need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so in the paper they put him. They said Dindu, literally Dindu, DINDOU, was caught blah blah blah. And they had the whole their colluded story, and basically dendu is a term for a black person that has an encounter with someone of authority. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. And they call them dendus. And they put it in the paper as dendu was caught doing this and shot at several times and blah blah
Ain't
blah.
that a bit? I mean, excuse me. That's messed up though, man.
Yeah, and so these actions that people are still seeming to question, what should we do about it? How should we go about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't get me wrong, there have been moves made, because circling back around to the situation with this white woman and this brother, and then having that even connect to Greenwood, there was a time before that, right before the 20s hit.
Okay.
1919 is called Red Summer, RED, Red Summer 1919.
Okay.
This is a summer where black veterans had came back to America after serving the country and fighting in the war for them, saving them in the war. Came back to America expecting a different level of treatment now that we've put our lives on the line for this land, and white people didn't like that. They didn't. They were more in the mindset of, nigga, who do you think you are? You think you're somebody now just because you went and put your life on the line for this land?
Right.
Just because, you know what I'm saying? And so there a lot of crime started happening, lynchings of black veterans.
Well, if we talking back then, that was not a crime.
Right. I just saw that on Cannon's class with this female doctor. He ain't even got it on YouTube. I looked for it. I wanted to go find that whole class, that whole session, but she said it was CKA, whatever it was. It was a something killing authority or something like that. It was like they normalized just like a nigga hunting license or something like that.
Yeah.
But I know the letters. The acronym is CKA. When I get it again, I'm gonna let you know exactly what she said, because I found it on Instagram and I saved it on my Instagram. But it just tripped me out when she said that yesterday. And like I said, I don't be much shocked by a whole lot of stuff with us and them, the great divide of black and white.
Right.
Anymore, because there's nothing that you can put past me that these people haven't tried to do or done, that is to humiliate us and dehumanize us and kill us in the process for no reason, not even for good reason, not in self-defense, but just because. You know what I mean? So,
and this is a lot of the information that you're putting out right now is very informative for people who would look at us as though, why are y'all scared of the police? Why don't you just answer questions? Those people. And I'll come back to that, because I definitely have a story that happened to me about that like a week ago with the exact same thing. Not with a cop, but with a white person. With the why don't you? But so going back to Mr. Dick Rowland here. What you think happened after that paper came out?
Sure, the angry mob of white people done some outrageous shit.
All right,
outside of the law, and didn't get prosecuted for it.
That is true. So that evening, many black men were at the courthouse to protect Rowland as a mob of whites descended on the courthouse, ultimately resulting in an armed black man and a white man having a confrontation, resulting in the latter's death.
The white man's death?
Yes. The mob retreated and returned over the next 2 days.
Of course they did.
Mobs of white people looted, then set fire to black homes and businesses. All because black people...
I need you to send this to Daniel and TK. I need you to send this to him now.
All because a man was accused of something that was not true, and they assumed...
That was not proven.
Yeah, it still to this day has not been proven. So, I mean, I know that's 21. That was a lie.
Because still to this day, and someone can correct me on this, I don't care who does, as long as they got the proper source.
Right.
we are still considered just 3/5 human. So we don't get full leverage on laws and rules and regulations that they have in place because those are made for 100% humans.
I would like to contradict your theory because
this is
if we are,
let me finish that thought real
go
quick.
ahead, go ahead.
These are the same people who don't claim humanism anymore. They claim alien. They claim they're descended from aliens. So how do these rules and laws apply to you completely? You know what I mean?
Right. Damn.
Anything so they can't be black because black people are the oldest known and oldest found artifact on here. They found the oldest place that they found it is in the land. You know what I'm saying? The oldest bones that they can trace are in the land.
Okay.
And so that means black people were here first. Before them, that means black people been here the longest. And so anything to say that we didn't descend from black people, because the obvious, what should be obvious in this sense is from black to white. Right. There's a trading of shade, and in this particular case on this planet, nationality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? From darkest skin to bright to the palest skin. But the thing that comes full circle or universal is their scientists said that our women can make anybody on this planet, regardless of their hair type, their eye color, their skin tone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and only they can do that. So anything to say that they didn't descend from black people, because at the end of the day, they had a saying. They had a saying when times were tough on them. And I highly doubt they said this during medieval times, and that's a joke on them. Right. But there were times when they said, "Man, I may have lost my home, I may have lost my wife, I may have lost my children, I may have lost my job, but at least I'm not black."
That I do. I have heard that. Yeah. Well, my contradictory statement on your 3/5 was kind of just rendered mute, because I'm still going to say it, but you definitely kind of proved it wrong when you went with the "they not even humans anymore" thing. That just throws my argument out the window completely. But
gotcha.
I would argue that they are considering us more than that 3/5 because we have made ourselves so. That is where the fear and the adjustment of these laws are coming from.
Adjustment of the laws, or fear in adjustment, like the person is adjusting to the laws.
No, the fear is that we are becoming equal. The adjustment of the law is due to said people becoming equal.
Well, yeah, they are afraid of it because we have shown them that not only would we become equal, but we would dominate the game that they put us in, and playing by their rules. We've shown them this time and time again. That's where you get Greenwood. That's where you get Tulsa, Oklahoma. Right. Because the black communities were circulating dollar bills 100 times in that community before it left that community. So that made that $1 coming from that community worth 100. You're good for credit of $100 because your dollar gonna circulate in your community, and you got quality products.
And see,
and it's all black people. And they knew we were gonna fuck them up economically. That's what was happening.
This whole Greenwood situation kind of make me sad, because when I was researching it, I kind of like dropped a tear, bro, because it just made me think like, man, these people had everything, bro, and they still took our nothing.
They didn't know. Yeah, they didn't know.
They took our nothing though.
Because, bro, look, and this is my theory on all the research I've done and all the stuff I picked up and connected together after over a certain amount of time. I found something, 15 that I connected with in 18,
right?
And then put them together because that's why that makes sense. Like, that's logical, right? Like, that's the logical movement of a human being that I've learned over these 33 years.
Right.
In this case with them, medieval times, told they ass up, and they vowed never to go back to that again. People were in the streets, bro. Now, people had their mamas and their daddies and their brothers and their sisters laying outside of their apartment on the ground because they were sick with that plague, and they didn't want to be. They couldn't be in the same home with them, or else they would have gotten sick too. So people are literally laying on the streets, in the sidewalk, in front of their crib, wherever, because of the plague, and they were getting their ass towed off like that.
Is that
and they
is that
vowed
why it's
never to go
legal?
back to that again.
Is that why it's legal in? I can't think of what state it is. One of the states it's legal. It's illegal to sleep in your car, but legal to sleep on the sidewalk.
I don't even know about that. I ain't never heard about that one.
Yeah, that's a real
But
law.
I guarantee you, bro, they made a vow with one another because they all went through it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It was the least documented time of the European. And a documentation is one thing, like a cornerstone of what has built them up to be who they are, because they actually utilized that documentation of that person who traveled to that land before them that's from where they're from
Right.
a generation ago. And encountered the same people that they said they encountered in their documentation, and they adjusted accordingly, and or the people that were on the land that they were visiting, that they were journeying to,
Right.
played the game wrong. They were trying to be cool with them, you know what I'm saying, and they got stabbed in the back. Because these people, bro, they went through that plague of medieval times. They went through that, and they almost got wiped out, which is why they done the natives so dirty here. They almost got wiped out, bro. And they vowed to never let that begin. So you get those voyages and those lusts for gold because they were poor. They didn't know how to do shit, bro. They come from the Pharaoh sapien. The Pharaoh sapien is the one that's talked about, if I'm not mistaken, in the Bible, and I'm sure in other books, that walked on all fours and was really hairy and lived in caves.
Right.
And dogs were their best friend.
Still to this day.
Because because they used to have sex with these animals and whatnot. That's where you get the H1N1 diseases and shit like that. People having sex with sheep and shit like that. Anyway,
so
you heard about farmers having sex with their sheep.
Yeah, I have. So
what was I forgot where I was at.
Well, I was going to say, even our military men nowadays, some of them, many of them, still don't get the 100% credit for them being a soldier, a veteran, whatever generals, things of that nature. They still don't get the 100% effect, appreciation, respect that they should. And that brings us to the next section here. Many of the mob were World War I vets with firearm training, and they were shooting citizens on sight.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
And our argument, people have, our leaders have been arguing that the military was involved in Greenwood, and for the longest, the feds were saying no, the United States military had nothing to do with that, but there were World War I vets with firearm training, killing people.
And there were planes dropping bombs. Who else got military planes dropping bombs? Mm-hmm. Who else?
Oh, you just ushered us right on in. Survivors said incendiary bombs were dropped from planes. What we know is that the white people had planes, crop planes, and they went up in their crop planes with hot tar. They flew over and dropped the hot tar onto the buildings in Greenwood, thus making the people that were inside for safety have to then run outside and meet the military trained people toting guns.
Right.
So.
Right, and look how methodical that is. Look how premeditated that is. And guess how many of them done time for that premeditated stuff?
None.
That premeditated murder.
None.
Let me ask you this. Did you know that a lot of these Great Lake areas that we know of across America were those communities?
Yes. And that, my people, is the history of white might happen. That.
Right. And it's not abnormal. It's not something out of character. I wonder how long everybody else, because they made everybody else their enemy, has been questioning their actions and motives and what we should do about it. I don't know what we should do about it. All these generations. And then the people who found out what to do about it, they've murdered them, because you see how they've done almost every leader we've had. Almost every leader I'm gonna say it, every leader we've had.
Yep.
Every leader, bro, they've gone after all of them. They're going after everybody that's speaking for us. There's people living in Cuba. There's people living in places where they can't be expedited because these people want to have a grip on that position or that power.
You think
that bad?
You think that's why they wanted to assassinate my character in the hood over there?
It's a trickle down
They
effect.
pretty much did, because I'm not there anymore. And while I was there, I was the one telling the kids, hey, y'all can do better. You know what I'm saying? Don't steal. You need something, talk to me. You might can get that. I was the one telling them, you don't have to take shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to take shit from nobody, man. If somebody disrespects you, you let them know they disrespect you. I'm the one who telling the kids to respect themselves, You know what I'm saying? I was the one who brought the theft down in that store, nigga, by 40% by myself. Just by me even being there. You know what I'm saying? Telling my people, fuck the white people, telling my people, don't steal, bro, when I'm here. Don't steal. Straight up telling them that. Don't steal when I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And then we have conversations, and I meet the mamas and the parents, and I meet the uncles and the aunties, and I know the whole fucking neighborhood. Nigga, I know the dope queen and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and then they started that whole, you know how it went, and then I ain't there no more. So, I felt like that was a whole thing too, because when I got there, they was always watching the black person, watch the black person, watch the black person. Then they see, me, I'm always.
Oh, you talking about over there where you at now?
No, I'm talking about where I worked at when I was at Allsups and all that. I was in the hood. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? I worked in the hood, and at the same time, I was telling people who I don't know what their mindset is, but their actions showed that they might not have been thinking that they had nothing going on really. You know what I'm saying? This is fun. I'm going to go over here and steal a candy bar because it's fun. Ha, ha, ha. Not knowing what kind of implications that could have on you for later on, bro. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
And without being all philosophical.
Speaking of that.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, with the implication situation, you got to know. Well, I ain't going to say you got to know because a lot of people don't. They don't think it's connected because they don't pay attention to the timeline of it. A lot of people go through very similar situations, but it's just a variation of the process, a similar process, right. And they don't realize I've been through this before, and last time it happened, I done this, so I'm gonna adjust this way this time and see how I feel to go this way, because it seemed like it's the same thing. Right. Like, I've gotten to a situation where I have deja vu, and not deja vu to have deja vu because I dreamed about it, but deja vu where it's like, okay, I'm actually right here, this exact way. This exact angle before. Like I've been here, and it's interesting, bro, because I'm wondering how many people go through life not realizing that duality of like you've been right here because of whatever circumstance, situation guided you here.
Right.
And it's hard to put into words right now because I ain't lying. Like it's the same. I've done it before. It's not deja vu. It's not a dream. I literally
done this
while
before.
Living, while being conscious, have been right here like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm realizing, I'm like, damn, what's going on to the point of where, how many times have I bypassed that and done that before and not even realized it?
Right.
And now that with the evolution, boom, here I am, acknowledging it.
Yes.
So now I can adjust
You're
it.
Actually living in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, and that is something.
And and growing up, and I know it's always your background is who you are today. So, and I've been growing up with everybody looking down on me, bro, and I always tout myself on, people look down on me, bro, but I always prove them wrong. And I don't never, like throw it in nobody's face. I'm not that type of person. I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator. But, people be like, oh, you ain't going to be shit. And then they be like, damn, how he do that? Like my whole life.
They got no vision for it. It's a vision. That's why. And speaking of vision, we're going to circle back around to the lust for gold.
Okay. Gold! What's gold?
Right. They went. These people were dying out, bro, and the economy was fucked up. Everything around them was fucked up, and these voyages on this lust for gold is what brought forth the Renaissance. The Renaissance came after medieval times.
Okay.
And the Renaissance was the rebirth of the European, if you will, and a lot of it stemmed from the colonization period.
Okay.
Because that's what they done. They went from landmass to landmass, trying to make trade with somebody off of religion, even though we the ones who taught them about the religion that they turned into their own passage and story.
Excuse me, for lack of a better word, it's called bastardization.
There we go. They bastardized it and tried to make trade with people for whatever they had that was valuable, which they saw valuable, which was gold. Shit that was shiny, stuff that was shiny. Gold. Stuff. Right, and so they got mad because people didn't come back with buckets, being like, hey, you can take that with you. You know what I'm saying? Just come back through next time, whatever. They and then those who were okay with them bringing them the buckets were like, ooh, there's got to be more. Do you have more? And they turned it into a backstabbing situation because the kings and queens that sent them on those voyages, because it was the kings and queens of that land that sent them on those voyages and supplied the ships for them and supplied this and supplied that.
Right.
Um, they were they were like, yeah, get all of it. We need all of it because we gotta rebuild and we coming back and we ain't sick no more and blah 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 and so forth and so on. And we're a nation now because they took their languages from their different tribes and they linked up because you going through it too? Yeah, I'm going through it too. Are you dying too? I'm dying too. Or it's only me and you're a woman and I'm a man and we're from different tribes. Yeah, but let's do this and they done that, bro. And so that's where I question people's focus on how mad they are at these people for doing what they've done over this time frame and over this time period, because for them it was salvation or death. For them it was survival or death. And I have landed on the tyrannous doings when it comes to slavery, because when they argue that everybody was a slave at one point, no matter what shade or what color you are, everybody was a slave. Yeah, but they don't finish that line by saying, or correct that line by saying they were an indentured slave. So if I owed you $10, I would be at your house cleaning your house that day. And I would go home at the end of the day to my wife and my kids, and I would come back the next day to do it again until the $10 was paid off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's an indentured slave. These people didn't get beat. They probably got fed. They probably rolled up and sheathed and laughed about it when he was taking a break and chopped it up.
Yeah.
And he got back to it. You know what I'm talking about?
No big deal. Same shit that go on nowadays. Right, like, bro, let me borrow $100. Cool. Or, you know, you can borrow the $100 and then nigga let me borrow your car or come to my crib and do this or pick up my aunt in. Yeah.
Right. Bartering and micro socialism. And so that's what people don't seem to. People are so busy trying to be right or so busy trying to seem smart that they don't want to deduce and boil down to the, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to boil it down to its basic roots to find out where the notion of that even people don't want to deduce to the notion of why they hear black. I just check this out. I'm watching Herb on Instagram. It's an Herb ad or whatever. I watched the video so I like.
Right, I saw the one you sent me.
Video. I think so. Yeah. And so the cannabis cutie is on there. She's presenting this vaporizer or whatever, and they going through the colors. She say they have it in gold, silver, spate, and another color. Guess what color spate is?
Black.
Spate is black. So instead of saying, it immediately clicked in my mind that why didn't they say black? And as soon as I thought, why didn't they say black? Because black now, the word black has a negative connotation. Black now, the word black goes to Black Lives Matter. Black now, the word black has the same notion that it's had for the past 50 years or 400, however many years to these people and the world, and now they finding a way to get around it. So they don't have to include the notion of somebody standing up in their blackness and being like, well, yeah, you're gonna have to put some respect on my name when you say that, because if we put, because we could be in every room everywhere we are saying whoever's good at what, because you know whatever we put our hands on minds to, we turn to gold. We could be in every room everywhere saying, standing up in the room, hold up y'all, hold up, so we gonna watch this TV like this? Okay, well let's make it a competition and we can outwatch everybody in there.
Yeah.
Are we gonna drink this water like this and we gonna outdrink everybody, so forth and so on? We could do that, and we could. We could, but we're not. Now, that makes me feel like the people that are watching us, because people are watching us because we shine, don't realize that jealousy is building up in them because we make whatever we do look easy without a sweat of the brow. And a lot of it is because we're just having fun.
Yep.
We're just relating.
Yep.
We're just flowing. It's just soul. It's just energy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're just being, bro. And if people gravitate towards it, what's up with you to make you feel like the gravitation ain't? The gravitation is good. It feels good, but not from this person, not from him, not from them. Why not from me? Like they want that gravitation. They want that shine.
Yeah. So in saying that, you know, it brings it back to Mario. You know, when I say when he had his little position, and I told his ass like, the day before I quit or whatever. Or like, yeah, I think it was the day before. And when he was trying to talk shit to me in front of the customers, and I was, I'm being nice and professional because I got customers. And I told him to leave me alone or whatever. And he was like, "You gonna listen to me?" And I'm like, "Boy, I ain't gonna never ever listen to you. Ever. Ever. You'll never be able to tell me what to do. Ever. You'll never be able to tell me to do anything and I'll do it. Ever." He didn't like that. He went outside and started yelling and all that. And then I got through with my customers, and when I got ready to walk outside is when he ran and jumped in his car and left.
He did this in front of the customers.
Mm-hmm. But he management material.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing. I was just talking to somebody about them having all that authority. They felt like, well, if I can tell them what to do and make the most money still, I'm blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But what they didn't take into account is we was going to be free one day. And not only was we going to be free one day, but we were going to know how to do everything that we was doing when we wasn't free. And before we met y'all at all, period.
And on that note, I'm going to say,
good like that.
I'm going to say, my peoples, that, once again, is the history of white might happen. I'm going to say thank you to my friend English here for joining us today on this podcast. Episode 1, would you believe it? There will be more coming. Y'all look out for the history of white might happen. We're going to be back at y'all. Check out my boy English, you know what I'm saying? Tell him where to check you out at, E.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and the PlayStation Network at English_214. That's the number 214. English, spelled just the way it is, _214.
Already.
Ain't nothing just about it.
Already, man. Y'all hit him up, you know what I'm saying, for the goods, maybe the bads. It depends on how you hit him up, So it's all about how you come at people, So y'all check out Mr. Dupree and keep your minds open and watch out for the history of white might happen.
Peace out.